Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Dr. R.kmedicos. In this video, we will talk about the little wall of nose. So continue to watch my video at last and never skip this video. If you are new at my YouTube channel, then please subscribe, like and share my YouTube channel and never forget to press the bell icon so that you will get notification of all video uploaded by me on my YouTube channel. Let's start this video without skipping the time. The little wall of nose is irregular owing to presence of the three self-like bony projection is called the concha, that is the superior nasal concha. As you can see here clearly that this is superior nasal concha, middle nasal concha and inferior nasal concha. Here you can see clearly this is inferior nasal concha. And the concha increase the surface area of the nose for the effective air conditioning of the inspired air. The skeleton of lateral wall of nose is partially formed by the bone and partially formed by the cartilage and partially made up only of the soft tissue. Firstly, we will talk about the bony part of the lateral wall of nose. Here you can see that the lateral wall, the bony part of lateral wall of the nose is formed by the frontal bone, nasal bone, maxillary hiatus, horizontal plate of palatine bone, ethmoid bone. As you can see here clearly that this is ethmoid bone and sphenoid bone, palatine bone, and inferior nasal concha bone, maxilla, and the perpendicular plate of the palatine bone, as you can see here clearly. And now we will talk about the cartilaginous part of the lateral wall of the nose. The cartilaginous part of the lateral wall of the nose is formed by lateral nasal cartilage, and lateral nasal cartilage further divided into two parts, and that is the superior lateral nasal cartilage and inferior lateral nasal cartilage. And the second cartilage is major alar cartilage, and the cutaneous lower part is formed by the fibrofatty tissue covered with skin. Now we will talk about the nasal concha in detail. Firstly, we will talk about the inferior nasal concha. Here you can see that this is the inferior nasal concha, and inferior nasal concha is an independent bone. Now we will talk about the middle nasal concha. As you can see here clearly that this is middle nasal concha, and the middle nasal concha is a projection from the middle surface of the ethmoidal labyrinth. And now we will talk about the superior nasal concha. As you can see here clearly that the superior nasal concha is also a projection from the middle surface of ethmoidal labyrinth. This is the smallest concha situated just above the posterior part of the middle concha. Now we will talk about the arterial supply of the lateral wall of the nose. The anterior superior quadrant of the lateral wall of the nose is supplied by the anterior ethmoidal artery, as you can see here clearly, and the posterior ethmoidal artery. And anterior inferior quadrant is supplied by the branch of the facial artery. Here in this figure is not given about the branch of the facial artery. And now the posterior superior quadrant is supplied by the few branch of sphenopalatine artery. As you can see here clearly that the posterior superior quadrant is supplied by the few branch of sphenopalatine artery, and the posterior inferior quadrant is supplied by the branch of greater palatine artery. Now we will talk about the venous drainage. The anterior superior quadrant is drained by the ethmoidal vein, and the anterior inferior quadrant is drained by the branch of the facial vein, and posterior superior quadrant is drained by the few branch of sphenopalatine vein. As you can see here clearly that this is sphenopalatine vein, and posterior inferior quadrant is drained by the branch of the greater palatine vein. Here you can see clearly. And now this vein form the plexus, and which drain anteriorly into the facial vein and posteriorly into the pharyngeal plexus of vein, and form the middle part to the pterygoid plexus of the vein. Now we will see the nerve supply of the lateral wall of the nose. Here you can see that the general sensory nerve derived from the branch of trigeminal nerve are distributed to the whole of the lateral wall. Here you can see that the anterior superior quadrant of lateral wall of the nose is supplied by the lateral nasal branch of anterior ethmoidal nerve and middle nasal branch of anterior ethmoidal nerve, and the anterior inferior quadrant is supplied by the nasal branch of anterior superior alveolar nerve. As you can see here clearly that this is a nasal branch of anterior superior alveolar nerve. Posterior superior quadrant of lateral wall of the nose is supplied by the lateral superior posterior nasal branch of maxillary nerve, as you can see here clearly, and the posterior inferior quadrant is supplied by the nasopalatine bone. Lymphatics from the anterior half of the lateral wall pass to the submandibular lymph node, as you can see here clearly, and from the posterior half drain into the retropharyngeal and upper deep cervical lymph node. This is all about the lateral wall of nose. I hope that this video will be knowledgeable for you. Thank you for watching my video at last.